Okay, students, we're doing a slope today in this lesson. Slope from equations of lines, as we see here, and slopes from 2 points, and slopes from the line itself on the graph. All right, so first off, 1 through 4, we should recognize that these are in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. And the m is the slope. What is the m called? It's called the what of the x, the coefficient of the x. You got to always review your vocab. What's the b? That's the y-intercept. It's also called a what? Constant, because there's no variable with it. It's a number by itself. And obviously x and y are variables. All right, so find on 1 through 4, since it's already in slope-intercept form, all you do is identify the coefficient of x. So example number 2, the coefficient of x here is -4/3. So I just write down m for slope equals -4/3. Now you can do the other three. Now on 5 through 8, these equations are in standard form. ax plus by equals c. So we need to solve for y, put it in slope-intercept form, and then we can tell what m is. So how do we solve our equations? Reverse PEMDAS. So I'm going to do number 8. So we got to solve for y. So I got to get rid of the 4x across, and then I have to get rid of the 5. So this is a positive 4x. So there's nothing in front, it's a positive. So the opposite is minus 4x. So I subtract the 4x across. Notice I put the negative 4x in front and negative 10 second because it's y equals mx plus b. And last step, I have to get rid of the 5. That means 5 times y. What's the opposite of times? Division. So I divide each term by 5. And that simplifies down to y equals -4/5 x minus 2, because 10 divided by 5 is 2. And now I can identify my slope, which is my coefficient of x, -4/5. All right, now we go to the next page. Now we find the slope between 2 points. Slope between 2 points, the formula is y sub 2 minus y sub 1 all over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Work on saying that correctly. It does not matter which, the sub 2's or just means 0.2 and sub 1's just means 0.1. It doesn't matter which one I call 0.1 and 0.2. I like it to make the numerator positive. So I ask myself, if I go -19 minus a -7, is that positive? No, it's a negative answer. So if I go -7 minus a -19, that's a positive answer, so I'm going to go right to left. If I go right to left with the y coordinates, I must go right to left with the x coordinates. It must be the same direction, so I want to see the arrows drawn. Okay, so I can see which direction you're going for both of them. So I do that, changing y over changing x, and I get this right here. And then don't forget, a negative times negative is positive, so I have 19 minus 7 is 12, and -2 minus 1 is -3. And 12 divided by -3 is -4. There's my final answer for my slope. Okay, now you can go ahead and do those 5 right there. And lastly, we're finding the slope from a line itself. Now, one of the things you gotta know for slopes, if it goes up to the right, it's positive. If it goes down to the right, it's negative. If it's horizontal, it's a 0 slope. And if it's vertical, it's undefined or no slope. You gotta know both those terms, undefined or no slope. Okay, you don't know how a test might give it to you as, which is multiple choice. All right, so on each of these, they have 2 points given to us, so we're going to use those 2 points. So here's the 2 points given to me here. I go ahead and draw myself a right triangle. I'm going to start at this point and go down to the right. Okay, so if I'm going down, I count how many I went down. I went down 5, so that's -5. That's why there's -5 there. Then I went to the right. That's a positive direction, so I went +4. And then don't forget, as we've already talked about before, slope is change in y, your y direction over your x direction. So my y direction was down 5, so that's on the numerator. X direction is +4 denominator. So my slope here is -5/4. Okay, now you go ahead and do those 3. When you're done, take screenshots, send it back to me.